Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing segment of Dancing Through the Decades here on Dean News Network. I'm Kaitlyn.
I'm Destiny.
And I'm Olivia.
Today we're going to be talking about a dance figure who is quite remarkable. We will be diving into the life and legacy of a dance legend who changed the way we move both on stage and on screen, who is none other than Bob Fossi. He is extremely well known for his distinctive and groundbreaking choreography, and his influence is still seen today. But first, let's take a step back in time and explore his rise to fame.
Robert Louis Fossi was born on June 23, 1927 in Chicago, Illinois. Growing up, he was the youngest of 6 children, and his interest in dance started at a very young age. By the time he was a teenager, he would have already been performing on stage. Fossi's early dance education was from neighboring studios, where he primarily trained in tap and ballet, but it was when he performed in nightclubs that truly shaped the signature style. Fossi danced in burlesque clubs. These were variety shows that derived from elements of slapstick sketches, chorus numbers, and sensual dancing, which introduced Fossi to the stylized movements that would become a part of his choreography.
During the Second World War, Bob Fossi joined the Navy and a touring company that entertained troops with song and dance routines. He was actually still in boot camp when the war ended, so once he fulfilled his military requirement, Fossi moved to New York City to pursue his Broadway dreams. This was when his experience in burlesque really shined, and his theatrical elements began to attract attention.
One pivotal moment in Bob Fossi's career was in the 1950s. Fossi appeared in a minor role in MGM's Kiss Me Kate. Although it was a small part, this was technically Fossi's first major film. His talent and stylized movement vocabulary gained attention from Broadway producers. From this point on, Fossi began to choreograph his first musical called The Pajama Game, as well as Sister Aline and Damn Yankees in 1955. The real solidifier in his career, however, was the shows Sweet Charity and Cabaret, which cemented his reputation in the distinctive and revolutionary choreographer.
One of Fossi's most recognizable shows is Chicago. His choreography for Chicago is a blend of stylized movement, jazz, and vaudeville designed to reflect the dark, cynical themes of the musical. Fossi, who directed and choreographed the original 1975 Broadway production, crafted a movement style that was seductive yet sharp, full of angles, isolation, and controlled tension. His work for Chicago conveyed the character's ambition through highly stylized angular body movements. He often took a minimalist approach to staging, using dramatic lighting and simple props like chairs to focus the attention on the performers and their rhythmic movements. The choreography in Chicago serves not only as an artistic expression, but also as a storytelling device. Each dance number shows the character's desires and struggles, blending vaudeville with a darker, more cynical perspective on fame, corruption, and justice. Numbers like All That Jazz and Razzle Dazzle show off Fossi's trademark sharp, jazzy moves, while Cell Block Tango uses fierce, angular movement to reflect the desperation and boldness of the female inmates. The choreography is always precise, and the lines between truth and illusion are consistently blurred. This led Bob Fossi to choreograph and even transition to film to direct for numerous stage and film works. Some notable shows include How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, Chicago, Redhead, Pippin, the film directions of Sweet Charity and Cabaret, and the self-written, choreographed, and directed Broadway production, Big Deal, which was nominated for 5 Tony Awards and won Best Choreography.
Bob Fossi's choreographic style in Cabaret redefined the boundaries of dance on film. Fossi created a dark and sensual aesthetic that mirrored the decadence and moral obscurity of the story setting in 1930s Berlin. The choreography in iconic numbers like Money showcased tight, controlled movements that contrasted with the explicit sexuality of the performers, making every gesture deliberate and impactful. Fossi's use of props such as chairs and bowler hats, along with his focus on small, intricate details, allowed the dancers to exude power and vulnerability simultaneously, crafting a bold narrative through physical expression. Fossi's cabaret style was also highlighted storytelling through dance, with every movement designed to reveal character and emotion. He often directed his performers to embrace imperfections and bring their individuality into the choreography, resulting in a uniquely human and grounded performance. The movements were infused with a subtle tension, creating a sense of unease that reflected the socio-political undertones of the film. His innovative use of cinematic techniques, including close-ups and dynamic camera angles, further elevated the choreography, seamlessly blending it with the storytelling. The result was a groundbreaking work that not only defined Fosse's signature style, but also a new standard for dance and film.
Bob Fosse incorporated many movements that made him particularly known for his style. For example, sharp and angular movements were mainly seen throughout his work. His routines also featured isolations, precise control over small body parts, and turned in knees. Fosse was naturally pigeon-toed, so he took what he had and made it work within his movement. In addition to the physical style of his dances, he added a lot of provocative energy. He used themes such as seduction, power dynamics, and vulnerability. Fosse often incorporated restraint gestures, creating a sharp contrast to the more expansive movements in traditional musical choreography. He made his use of props such as hats, canes, and chairs. He frequently framed his dancers' movements in ways that highlighted the dramatic or thematic elements of performance.
During his time, Fosse has won a lot of different awards. He won 8 Tony Awards for choreography, the most by any individual for shows, including The Pajama Game, Damn Yankees, Sweet Charity, Pippin, and Dancin'. He also earned the Tony Awards for Best Direction of a Musical for Pippin. In films, Fosse won the Academy Award for Best Director for Cabaret in 1973, overcoming directors like Francis Ford Coppola of The Godfather. He received an Emmy Award in 1973 for choreographing and directing Liza with a Z, making him one of the most rare individuals to win an Oscar, Tony, and Emmy in the same year. Additionally, his semi-autobiographical film All That Jazz won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival and earned him further Oscar nominations.
Fosse's life ended up containing many personal struggles, including a battle with depression and a history of failed relationships. He had several marriages throughout his life, notably to dancer and actress Gwen Verdon. He had a strong professional and personal partnership with her. Their collaboration was one of the most iconic in musical theater history. Fosse died of a heart attack on September 23, 1987, at the age of 60. His legacy still lives on today. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you will tune in to next time for
Dancing Through the Decades.